Well, welcome back to another episode of a wrestling podcast, number 6 to be precise. And holy shit, what a 24 hours in professional wrestling. Yesterday we had two spectaculars, I guess we could call them. Yeah. WWE had their Netflix Raw debut kickoff, and AEW had a random Dynamite in December. It was called like a Holiday Bash or something. I don't remember. But man, the implications of this episode of Dynamite are pretty insane. And it had quite possibly I I want to say top 10 match of the year. I don't know exactly where, and I'm not going to know until I decide to do my top 2024 thing, my year end, but I'm not doing it before December 31st. Wrestling goes until December 31st. So, just as a heads up, I guess, none of my year enders will ever come out before the end of the year. It'll always come out probably like a few days later, maybe even a week later. So that way I have time to go over everything and digest everything and, make sure that I get all areas tackled that I want to tackle for what I would consider my personal end of the year favorites. Again, wrestling's subjective. I know my truth, and it might be somewhat related to yours, might not be. Who knows? Who cares? Professional wrestling. Woo. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty cool episode when I do get to there. As I said, lots of pretty cool things ready for today's episode. And I do want to let everybody know I have an email that you can reach me at to ask questions, and that is a wrestling podcast host at gmail.com. And also letting everybody know that I'm available on Spotify and YouTube. I have a link tree in my Instagram bio, and it'll take you to either of them. Please subscribe on YouTube and give me a like, and then, and then head over to Spotify and hit me with a 5-star review, and also interact with some of the questions that are there, comments or whatever. So yeah, I guess I'll get into the episode now. So next segment time, woohoo! Okay, so bear with me here because um, I did it again, and I gotta really talk to Super High Rob, right? Because he's a fucking menace. He's the one that's been taking the notes, and his writing is apprehensible, at least. So the Death Riders arrived to NXT Dynamite Holiday Bash, and they, you know, came in cool and chill and everything. And I have some words here from my boy Sam, Mass MC, Blamo Blamo. Um, I'm looking for him right now. But it's kind of how I feel about the Death Riders in general. And it was hard for me to materialize my thoughts, but he kind of did. And I'm gonna say everything word for word here. Yeah, the Death Riders don't have a direction. The initial direction was, ooh, maybe Shane is coming to join them, and now it's an insider attack on the roster for not leveling up. Like, they haven't actually said one straight line yet without that Malachi Black Wyatt innuendo mystery. I don't get them. I want to, and and I keep waiting for something to happen, but it's just them being them. And as well as they go together, none of them, apart from Mox, can carry anything in terms of entertainment. They fit well to paint the picture of a solid wrestling faction, but they don't uplift each other with their personalities like a good faction should. The sum of their parts is literally just the sum of their parts. This is where writers help. The bloodline interacting with each other is what got them over, not what they were doing with anyone else. Same for Judgment Day. Death Riders are just four guys and a gal versus the world. Right? And that's true. The one thing that he did say right here as well was the Clockwork Orange-esque get-up, the fact it's given Claudio some real steam. Just all five of them in general are fucking awesome, but they are just in need of a McMahon to save their asses. Only Shane has the key to their salvation. Sad when you think about it. So, needless to say, the Death Riders, I think, are in a weird spot where people want to like them, and also people want to boo them if they're supposed to be booing them, but they don't know what the fuck they're about. I mean, aside from kidnapping people and trying to make people drink cleaning products. But anyway, so then interview Renee Paquette does an interview with Jay White, and Orange Cassidy, and they're kind of talking about how nobody can trust each other, but they got to get through tonight. Da, da, da. Then he talks about Hangman. Hangman pops up out of nowhere with this fucking crazy ass look on his face, starts screaming about shit, and then he fucking leaves. And then Jay White says something, I forget what he said, and then Orange Cassidy like put on his sunglasses, looked at Renee, and left. Then we got the Excalibur, welcome to Dynamite. Or no, we got that first. I'm sorry. He started running down the card. I'm an idiot. I might be a little high as well. Whatever. First match time, Mercedes Moné versus Anna Jay. In my notes, I've got the picture-in-picture shown of Mercedes NJPW match, Mina coming out, and they dance off. And Mina challenged for the NJPW belt that Mercedes owns. What else do I got? The match was actually very solid, lots of back and forth, but there was never any fear Mercedes was losing. The cameraman knew the assignment many times, though. So, yes, Mercedes won. And yeah, it was a fine match. It was okay. Both ladies kind of showcased what they were capable of. They didn't get a ton of time, but they got enough time. Then we had FTR doing a vignette in the back. Well, not in the back, but at their home where they're no longer kidnapped and saying that they agree with the Death Riders, but they don't agree with the Death Riders because, you can't pour cleaning products down people's throats. But they did say that they'll be ready to come to fight for the Fallen in January. I think it was January 1st. And they said they're not coming alone. So here's to hoping that means that Mr. Copeland will be ready for Fight for the Fallen, and they will be able to do some real good work. Maybe Beth Phoenix will show up too because of the whole Marina Shafir stuff, right? Then MJF came out wearing a suit that was very festive. Happy Hanukkah. Then he ran down the people of DC and Wizards fans, and then the Wizards fans agreed that the Wizards suck. He loves Hanukkah and tells everyone Santa isn't real. It's not my responsibility to tell your kids that Santa's real or fake. That's up to you. Merry Crisis. So, yeah, he wants to talk about a fundraiser, and this fundraiser was fucking great. He started playing this sad little fucking music, and he started kind of weeping about how people need to eat and he needs to raise funds for the little yellow baby, Adam Cole. And he put up this fucking picture that was so ridiculous. But also, if you looked at the picture from a far enough view, it didn't look like it was altered at all. But it was it was Adam Cole doing his baby pose, and he made him yellow as shit because bro has been hitting that tanning solution hard as fuck since returning, and he has been yellow, so yellow, like the Gucci Mane song. Whew. Yeah, it's been wonderful looking at all the memes for that. But then Adam Cole comes onto the screen saying that he's gonna beat MJF for the Diamond Ring at the Dynamite Diamond Ring at World's End this Saturday, and he's got Matt Taven and God, I don't remember the other guy's name, and I'm sorry, but he's got both of them as backup, and yeah, he can't use the ring, yada yada. So they're probably going to turn on him. um, and what happened after that was Adam Cole said, "Oh, by the way, am I beating your ass yet?" And MJF's like, "What does that mean?" And then he turned around and Cole was behind him, and then he beat his ass. And then we went to Jamie Hayter sending a message to Julia Hart for Fight for the Fallen. And then we have another thing of Kenny Omega. Can't wait for this. Kenny Omega is plugged for Wrestle Dynasty and then the inevitable return to AEW. It's been a long time coming for Kenny Omega to be back. So glad that he's healthy. So glad that he's making his return. And when he does return, it's going to be in his essential home. He's going to be at New Japan, where he's so happy and where he came up. And I guess it's a sense of a homecoming for him. And it's well earned. Definitely well earned. While he's been away, he's really tried to mend some bridges and he's really tried to grow up. And hopefully that reflects when he comes back. And that to me will make him even more of a phenomenal person and professional wrestler. So can't wait for Omega to come back. Then we go into Christian Cage and Nick Wayne versus Hook and Shibata. Christian Cage and Nick Wayne won. It was okay. Nothing great. There wasn't any real story progression for it. Uh, so I guess maybe the whole thing is kind of over, even though it wasn't really a thing anyway. It was kind of a thing for a few weeks, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next with it. But then we get into an ad for Collision on Saturday. We kind of get like a rundown of the card that's going to be happening. Jericho vignette in New York City for Ring of Honor Final Battle on Friday. That's going to be a pretty good event, I think, pay-per-view. I'll probably have a review out for that. Just like a quick little 10, 15-minute thing because I don't really follow Ring of Honor that much, not going to lie. There's a lot of these events that I'm probably going to do a quick review of, just of like the matches because I don't follow them regularly. And that's, of course, if I had the time to watch them. I don't know. Depends on my schedule, depends on what goes on with me, and that's pretty much it. But the vignette was awesome. I loved how it was done, the style of everything. Then Mariah May talked in the back. So we had like two backstage segment. Well, we had vignettes, backstage segment, commercials, all sorts of shit. And finally, Ricochet came out to the ring with, Tony Schiavone. Jesus, I feel like Michael Cole stumbling all over my words. But came out with Schiavone, started talking a little bit, had kind of like a little cocky attitude going on. Then the Hurt Syndicate comes out. MVP talks some shit. They rip up the business card that was given to him a few weeks ago. Bobby Lashley like choked him up, and it was pretty funny. And MVP was like, let him go. And then Ricochet goes up to the top of the ramp and was like, yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll talk to you guys later. And it was just fucking weird, but it was funny at the same time. Then we had the Hurt Syndicate stay out, and the Beast Mortos came in. Shelton won in a very like awesome battle. Lots of physicality. He's been on a wholly different level since coming to AEW, and it's been really awesome to watch. It's been awesome to see that Shelton can still go, and also let's be real here. From the things that we're seeing, he was never really given a chance, right? Like we saw him put on some good matches in WWE, but we've never seen Shelton like this. We've never seen Shelton do the things, some of the things he's done in WWE, but he's been kind of putting on a lot of really good fucking matches since joining AEW. And they proceed to beat up Mordos. Garcia comes out, and this is one of the most fucking idiotic moments in wrestling history. He's like, I've done the math. If I come down there, I'm going to get beat up because there's three of you and one of me. And then Mark Briscoe comes out and somehow 2-1-3, yeah, I'm fucking good. 2-1-3 is good math. They get beat up, and then Benjamin's holding the TNT championship, which I'm going to be real and completely honest with you. I forgot Danny Garcia was the TNT champion. Like I really did. I absolutely forgot. When he came out with it, I was like, oh, wow, when did he beat Luke Perry? Oh, wait a minute. I watched him do it. Whew. Yeah. So they get beat up. Benjamin's holding the championship. Then we get a little vignette for the Continental Classic. As I've been saying, Okada, well, I haven't been saying on the podcast because this is my first time really truly talking about AEW, but Okada really loves to call people bitch. Like, really, really loves to call people bitch. And then we are backstage with Ricochet, and he's doing a little bit of talking, basically like downplaying everything that happened with the Syndicate. He goes to leave, and there's Swerve. They get into a back and forth. Swerve starts calling him Trevor, called him a follower. Ricochet says that he's winning the Continental Classic, doing what Swerve couldn't do. Does that little ha ha that he's been doing and walks away. And then Swerve was like, "That's why you're still bald." So anyway, then we get the Tony Storm segment, and obviously, again, I've been saying it to my friends, but y'all listening wouldn't know. Either she's acting on her as her character, like Timeless Tony Storm is either acting as Tony Storm, or her character has amnesia. So when they mentioned all these people like Soraya, Mariah May, and all these other ones, she didn't like have anything negative to say about them. She was calling them legend and the best right now and this and that. And she talks about how she'd never be in AEW and how she's just grinding the indies. So if that's the case, then this Tony Storm, whether she has amnesia or she's just timeless Tony Storm pretending to be Tony Storm beforehand, just doesn't remember her time in WWE, or she's pretending it never existed. Because she's literally just talking about grinding the indies. She's never talked about like being on the main platform that is WWE. So this version of Tony Storm is plucked right from the indies. And that's going to be kind of fascinating to me. And I can't wait to see where that one goes. Now, the next match, as soon as I turn my page here, Whew. All right. We don't deserve this match. And I really want everybody that listens to this to go out and watch this match in full. There's an 18-minute and 35-second version of it on YouTube. And I mean, more than likely it's going to get taken down soon, but holy for holies, from the entrances to the end, this match was absolutely, absolutely, if you're going to give it a star meter, it was definitely a 6-star match. If you're going to go top 5 or 5 stars, me, I would simply just say it's an A+ match. The the beginning, when they're just doing their ring poses, where Darby's sitting on the ground and Ospreay's looking at him, the fans are just chanting "Holy shit!" right from the rip, like right from the fucking rip. And it's just when they got up, it became this intense thing. It was just flips and moves and counters and all this phenomenal chain wrestling. And then it turned into Darby doing Darby things where he did the coffin drop off the top of the ring post onto the ring apron. And the thud that he made was just, ugh. You could see how he kind of landed it to mitigate, I guess you could say, as much as he could. But it's still, that impact is still there no matter what. And every time he does that, like a part of me dies because it looks brutal and I'm sure it doesn't feel great. Like you're hitting where he's hitting at, it's a meteor part, so it's going to kind of flatten the damage, but ugh, oh no, it's still a rough landing. And then we get more counters, we get more back and forth, we get hidden blade off of a sling board, like just goddamn this match. Then we ended up getting Darby and Ospreay on the outside of the ring apron, and he being Ospreay, ends up getting Allen in position for the Styles Clash, and son of a bitch, he hits it onto the floor, and that was fucking diabolical. Styles Clash from ring apron to the floor, Fight Forever chant breaks out, and just you killed Darby chant or Darby's dead. I don't remember which one it was, but absolutely incredible, incredible match. Finally, we get a series that leads into Darby wiggling out and getting Ospreay in position for the fucking Scorpion Death Drop. And when he does, I'm like, oh my God, Darby's going to win this fucking match. Darby's going to win this match. And he does 2 coffin drops right into the ring, and Darby won. Darby won. Unbelievable match. Unbelievable match. It was wonderful. I really need anybody that listens to this to go out and watch this match. And I hope all the other talking heads watch it too, because this AEW feels like a takeover. If y'all remember early NXT, takeovers were where it was at. And that's what AEW used to feel like. Just every week. Oh my God, what is going on next in AEW? And tonight, well, yesterday feels like that. It's just wild. And even the ending where the Death Riders just came right out. I'm guessing that Darby and Osprey went over in time, and I said that to the child and also to Jossie, because it was cutting it close. So the Death Riders came out. Then Hangman, Jay White, and Orange Cassidy came out. Moxley, Yuta, and Pac are representing. Orange and Yuta started it off. Then at some point, I don't know where it happened, but Hangman leaves and it becomes a 2-on-3. And then it was just kind of a wrestling match. It wasn't anything great, especially after Osprey versus Allen. Like, I don't know why that wasn't the main event. You weren't getting the crowd back after that match. There's some matches that need to be the main event and some matches that don't. And this is another thing that I have talked to Sam with, Mass MC, quite a few times. There's some matches that AEW has that you're like, man, that is definitely going to be the main event. And then there's some matches where you're like, oh, God, this is going to be the main event instead. And it's not like you're mad that that's the main event. You're just like, man, yeah, this is the main event. You're right. But there's matches that you're like, man, this should really be the fucking main event. And Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay was that match. I did, however, hear the word windpipe 5 times during that final match last night. And I don't remember who won. I know there was a big kerfluffle, but yeah, I kind of tuned out. And honestly, I never went back to see how the show finished. My bad, but I'll be honest with you. I watched the Darby Allin and Will Ospreay match 3 times. Again, shouldn't have ended it with the Death Riders, especially when, it's been 3 fucking months and we still don't know what their purpose is. People were saying that it was taking forever for Bray Wyatt to get to his story. Jesus, this feels like it's been a fucking marathon. But either way, AEW, absolutely phenomenal this week. Hats off to whoever cooked up this episode because it was really good and I want more of this. I crave more of this. The people crave more of this. The children don't crave the minds. They crave good AEW. And y'all need to deliver it. Last night was proof that you don't need blood and guts everywhere. You don't need all sorts of crazy shit. You just need a really good fucking story. I had more notes for AEW than I did for Raw. Again, Dynamite and NXT are the real competition with each other, in my opinion. They get it. They're the better wrestling and entertainment shows. I think Raw's holding itself back right now, especially considering what the kickoff talks about, which I'm going to get into in the next segment. But man, Dynamite was good. Dynamite was real good. And I'm very happy that I got to watch it live, especially the Osprey and Allen match. Fantastic, fantastic stuff. So, yeah, I think that's all I really got to say about Dynamite. 5 matches. All 4 of them were at least B quality. 2 of them were A quality and 1 was A plus quality. Go out of your way to watch it. And I'll be back in just a couple beats for the final segment of the show. Woo. Okay, and here I am for the final segment of the show. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. This is the WWE Raw on Netflix kickoff. And I listen to the podcast Tribal Chief. I listen to Sam Roberts. We're in the era of everything counting. And when Cole did the introduction for the show, he didn't call CM Punk the best in the world. He called him the Second City Saint right off the bat. Ever since Punk's been back, he's been the best in the world. Why all of a sudden the name change to the Second City Saint, which is a name that he kind of used in WWE a little bit, but really used in other territories, companies. Interesting. The next thing that really got me was the set. They were in WWE headquarters, yes, but they were also on a set. There was a platform, there was everything, podium, all that. This set that they had was symmetrical, and the graphics that they used fit the set. I have a feeling that when Raw comes to Netflix, it's going to be a set that style, but just bigger in scope. Because I know they want to film more butts in seats. That's the deal coming for 2025. The lighting that they're using, those 4K cameras where they catch the wrestlers coming to the ring, and then the cameras that are the same cameras that they use for before the matches, where they're doing the introductions and all that for the main events and everything. Those cameras are what they're going to be using for Netflix. It's going to look incredible if that's the set that they go with, just on a bigger scale. And with people like above the set and around the set, it's going to be different. I have a feeling we're going to see something really special when Raw comes to Netflix. And I hope that the servers are going to be able to take it because, oh boy. Then we got Logan Paul coming out. And he does a lot of trash talking about how washed up fighters want to fight him, talking about how Hogan wants to fight him, and Conor McGregor wants to fight him. Did I say Hogan? I meant Tyson. I don't know. I'm a little high. So Tyson wants to fight him. McGregor wants to fight him, and says that basically everybody loves a Paul Bro payday. Like, that's insane because this is kind of what the Conrads and the Sam Roberts were talking about, how they're going to transition that Jake Paul fight into something. And hell, we might end up getting something at WrestleMania or Royal Rumble regarding the Jake Paul and Tyson fight. Who knows? Who fucking knows? Afterwards, Rhea comes. Oh, also Logan says he's unretired and he's coming for the world championship and all that, blah blah blah. And he's on Raw. Rhea came out next, starts talking about Raw, lives out, and I swear that fucking bullhorn is a great addition. Her, Raquel, and Dom need to just be their own faction and say goodbye to Judgment Day. And there's a little bit of back and forth between Liv and Rhea, and boom, Adam Pearce announces that it's official. Rhea and Liv are going to be against each other on January 6th on the first episode of Raw on Netflix. And they get into it a little bit. And there's this one part where a little kid's voice is heard, and it's like, I love you, Rhea. And she's like, I love you too, small child. You have to watch this. It's on YouTube. It's hilarious. She barely breaks character. Liv goes and freaks out or whatever. But as Michael Cole's getting ready to introduce the next thing, KO interrupts Kevin Owens and says that he's a real world champion and still has the Winged Eagle. Why didn't security take the belt as well? Because like KO goes and starts talking to Michael about Cody Rhodes and about this and how he's the world champion and Cody's not. And then security finally gets there, and I'm like, why the hell didn't security take the championship from him? They were literally right there. And then as KO's being taken away, he looks dead in the camera and says, I have the best move set. And Jesus fucking Christ, that was a nod to everything going on the internet this past week with CM Punk and everything. I have the best move set. That is one of the things of all time. Thank you for saying that, Kevin Owens. But then after he gets carted off and everything, the Bloodline Wolfpack comes out. Yeah, the Bloodline Wolfpack, because that's exactly what the fuck they are. They're the Bloodline Red and Black. Even though the Bloodline was Red and Black, they're still the Red and Black version of the Bloodline. They are the Wolfpack. They do their catchphrases. They give like a pre-victory talk, basically saying that Solo is going to be, I love you, Solo. Anyway, they're basically saying that Solo is going to be the next tribal chief. He's the current tribal chief, and he will keep his Ulafala. Then Heyman comes out, talks some gospel about the tribal combat match, and then leaves. That's pretty much what it is. Then they go and say that there's the main event coming up. Well, they were going to announce the main event, but somebody else came there that they didn't know if they were going to make it or not, and that person was Gunther. So Gunther makes it. He starts talking about how he's the face of Raw, and I finally figured out as Gunther's talking why Triple H, why H loves Gunther so much. It's because he looks like Killer Kowalski and talks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Two of Triple H's favorite fucking people. So, as I said earlier, Michael Cole stumbled through all of this. That one part with him and talking about SmackDown and Gunther and everything, Jesus fucking Christ, it was a nightmare. Fucking nightmare. But then after Gunther leaves, we finally get the announcement. The main event. This is fucking huge, right? The main event for the first Raw on Netflix. The main event. CM Punk, who nobody ever thought was going to be in the WWE again, versus Seth Rollins. In one of my last episodes, I even talked about how this feud kind of like lost it for me a little bit because it doesn't take place at WrestleMania, because it doesn't feel important. Right there, they brought me back in. It feels important again. It feels important. Punk came out in a suit and tie. Seth Rollins came out looking like a warlock from Destiny 2, just without the mask. He called Punk a bootlicking bitch. Everybody likes to say bitch anymore in pro wrestling. It's pretty fucking funny. It's way more funnier when Okada does it, though. I'm sorry. Okada is the best at it. Bitch! But anyway. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Punk and Rollins, like, Punk just rammed his head in the Rollins head. They shoved each other. I'm ready for this match now. Yeah, I'm ready for it now. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good match. 2025 is shaping up to be even particularly bigger than 2024 was. And Jesus Christ, 2024 was a year in pro wrestling. And I feel like we've been saying that for the last 3 years. Like 2021 was a year in pro wrestling. 2022 was a year in pro wrestling. 2023 was a year in pro wrestling. Well, now here it is, the fourth year in a row. 2024 was a year in pro wrestling. And the fucking fucked up thing is, it's not done yet. Whew. But the good thing is I am done. So with that in mind, I'm out of here for the week. Take a listen to the ending theme and everything that I have to say there. And what did I mean week? I'm out for the day because I'll be back probably again tomorrow with another episode. In fact, I will be because tomorrow or even later today, who knows, the episode with my longest tenured friend, JD Pierce, JDP, will be up. And we are going to be talking about our top 10 Royal Rumbles of all time. And everybody's going to be getting to know them. So please take a listen to both of these episodes. Then, of course, tomorrow is going to be SmackDown. Probably going to throw up a TNA episode if I get a chance to watch it. Hell yeah, professional wrestling, brother. It's where it's at. Talk to you soon. Hey, this is the part of the show where it's the end. And I got to tell you to like, follow, subscribe, do all that great shit. A wrestling podcast. Look it up everywhere. Rob, I'm out.